listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Hell's Kitchen After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Hell's Kitchen After Show.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, Domino's. We're starving. We need some pizza here at the AfterBuzz Studios.
Right.
Welcome to the #1 Hell's Kitchen After Show. This is Hell's Kitchen AfterBuzz. Hell's Kitchen, Season 1. 14 chefs compete, and I can't do this alone. I go to the expert, the silver-throated, the guy with an amazing palate. He loves food. He loves poetry. The poet saint himself, riding shotgun. Here he is, Lem Gonsalves. Lem, thank you, man.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad that we're here together again. We're here every single week.
Every single week, without fail.
If you love Gordon Ramsay, if you love to hear the words, get out!
Yeah.
Well, we didn't hear those words.
Right.
But I still love, I'm waiting for them, you know?
It's always going to be there. It's always going to be there.
Lem Gonsalves, a comment has poured in.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
Melanie Finch, Hell's Kitchen 12, seated right beside you. Remember that show? Two episodes ago. We were commenting on someone's tattoo.
Yes.
Do you remember the contestant?
Yes, I do.
It was Beth.
It was Beth.
This written manifesto in front of you right now is Beth Taylor's comment about us commenting about her tattoo.
No way.
Would you like me to read it?
I would love you to read it.
We appreciate the comments.
Yes.
You know, find us on YouTube, find us on iTunes, and we read them. And this may cut to the bone a little bit.
Oh, I'm ready. Cut it.
Well, let's review. What did we say, to the best of our recollections, when Melanie was there? We were talking about the forearm tattoo of Beth Taylor.
Well, I think it started with...
It got a little rough.
It did get rough because, you know, we were saying, you know, okay, not only do you have a Hell's Kitchen tattoo, but how dare you have a Hell's Kitchen tattoo and you can't last in the season.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just her. It was, you know, my man that got voted out earlier that had the Hell's Kitchen right in the, you know, little crevice of his back.
I felt like I was at the top of a football an empty football stadium, and Beth was like on the 50-yard line, and I was like a sniper.
Yeah.
And I took my shot, and I'm like, hey, she commented, so we're going to give her equal time. Here's
do it.
Beth Taylor, who was eliminated just last week, said this, and I quote, "As far as my tattoo goes, gentlemen, I knew I was going to Hell's Kitchen. I knew I was there to learn something from Gordon. As far as getting it, after I won, I feel I did win. Out of thousands who applied, I was chosen to compete with some exceptional people. Think about it. How many people have gotten an opportunity to learn from Gordon Ramsay?" Beth, you spell Gordon Ramsay with an A, not an E. That's okay.
It's all right.
Not judging. She said maybe 200 people, and I was one. It's a special family that not many people are included, and I'm one of the few. In closing, I'm better now than before, and I will always be lucky enough to have the experience of Hell's Kitchen. Smiley face. Beth, that was classy.
That was cool.
We didn't mean any offense, but she gave us her side.
She did.
She has it as a badge of honor right now. So
there you go.
We only wish you the best. Beth.
And your tattoo.
Yeah. We only wish you the
Both
best.
of you.
All right. Now it's 14 chefs competing.
Yes.
And right off the bat, the contestant in blue and red that doesn't shy away from confrontation is, of course, Sandra.
Right.
And she spearheaded this episode off again. What is it about her? Is she starting to is that iceberg starting to thaw, Lem?
I don't know. I mean, it's still pretty frozen. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, I think, of course, at the beginning of the episode, it is piggybacking off of how we ended. and so they always tend to continue it. So, but she does find herself always in the middle of controversy. And I said it last week. She is just one that they just do not like her. You know, for whatever reason. I don't think she's the best chef, but she's not the worst. I think she's kind of right in the middle. But I think the fact that she doesn't like to play with, you know, she's not friends with anybody. She's not buddy with anybody. She kind of stands alone. So she ends up being this lone renegade, and she ends up being a target because also she's not really, you know, very cordial with the other contestants.
I think about Sandra cooking at home and not wanting to spill something next to her. Can you imagine? You know, I'm like, is she like that on a professional level only, or does she carry it over into her personal life? Obviously, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I'm just saying, you know, the kitchen is the heartbeat of the house, and like in Hell's Kitchen, I think it's a toxic quality to bring in. It's almost cancerous, you know. So we're gonna have to just wait and see how it goes. She's still one of the 14, which brings us to the first challenge, and I liked it. We're going into a challenge. Then 8-year-old, Michael Testa.
That was pretty dope. That was dope.
This kid was a demigod of dough. You know, he came in there, and have you ever done part-time pizza?
I never have.
I have part-time pizza.
You have?
Oh yeah, we did. We call it the space shuttle.
Okay.
2 doughs, Lem. Spin one goes this way, one goes that way.
Really?
But you know what? I should have made a career out of it, because look at me now. So the challenge was build a perfect gourmet pizza. Now, in the Hell's Kitchen pantry, 100 ingredients. They had 30 minutes to go, and they had 30 minutes for a stunning gourmet pizza. So,
and they were paired up.
To you, what is a gourmet pizza?
I would say, well, gourmet pizza is kind of, to me, an oxymoron, because to me, pizza is pizza. I love pizza. I love food. I mean, let's keep it real. But if I'm going to go in and say I want a gourmet pizza, then I would probably want what I feel is gourmet food. So maybe lobster, other types of seafood, something that's out of the ordinary, out of the box, something I can't get at Domino's, something I can't get at Pizza Hut. That to me would be considered gourmet.
What Lem said is my exact same pizza order. That's what I want to eat. All right, so we're up and running here, and the teams were paired off, and the teams were, you had Richard, Anton, Chris and Jason, Ralph on his own, Scott and Gabriel for the blue team. The red team, who do we have? We had Mel and Sandra. We had Jersey, Jess, and Joy. Bev and Kashia. And then Rochelle was solo. Herself. So let's start with the solo. Rochelle. Oh wait, how about the special guest judge?
Yeah, Wolfgang Puck.
You know, there's nothing like an old school Wolfgang Puck pizza. I'm not talking about the ones that are at the frozen aisle at the supermarket.
No, not those.
When you go in there and you get some of the, it's not about bulk. When you have a Wolfgang Puck pizza, you have to have a salad with it, and then maybe a dessert, because you know, usually when you and I eat pizza, there is no starter and there is no dessert. No. We just shove our faces.
Exactly.
But anyways, okay, so the first one was Ralph. Just got his little tiny butt kicked on that one.
Poor Ralph.
It just seems to me
Poor
like
Ralph.
Why is dough and pizza and these why is it so foreign to these people?
Well,
are they so far up along the food chain that they don't care about a basic pizza?
Well, I think, I mean, as you know, these chefs have different backgrounds, obviously. And as we saw, Anton, you know, he was like, this is his wheelhouse. He was like, pizza. This is me right here.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. This is what I do. But I think the other chefs, if it's something that you're not used to cooking from scratch, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can take a frozen pizza and pop it in the oven. But we're talking about making this from scratch, the dough, putting all the ingredients together, putting the right ingredients with each other.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not used to doing it, you're going to fail.
Wolfgang Puck was actually tougher on the contestants than Gordon Ramsay.
He was.
You know, and I like that. You know, didn't he? He said, when it doesn't cook, it's a ball.
Right.
Boom. Right.
Exactly.
That was a great job by Wolfgang Puck. And you know, when he walked in and there was that religious music, I was like, Oh my!
Oh, the heavens.
Yeah, exactly.
Opened up.
Any the red team's pizza stick out in your minds, Lem? I mean, call them out.
Let me see. I'm trying to think what.
Well, how about Joy dropping her pizza? Poor
Yeah,
thing. I
that
felt
was-
bad for her because they play the whale because she's mic'd up. And
Right. Well, that was during the actual service.
Yeah.
That she did that. Yeah. That was during the service.
that was during the pizza competition in the beginning. She dropped one. She dropped the pizza and then she had to remake it real fast.
Oh, that's right.
In the
because
30
of
minutes.
Right, and it came out looking like
Not good.
Not good.
Yeah.
It was pretty like an amoeba.
Yeah.
Shaped.
And then Melanie, who was here,
Mm-hmm.
she kind of spearheaded a movement to kind of keep Keisha's pie down.
Which, in my opinion, when I saw all four of the pizzas, I thought that one was, to me, the most intelligent pizza, the one that was most attractive to me, the one that I would want to get out of those four.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately knew, once they said, "Oh, we're going to put that to the side," I knew that was going to be an issue.
But you can't tell me, Gordon Ramsay and Wolfgang Puck, that burnt crust is gourmet. Burnt crust is burnt crust.
That's true. However, I think burnt crust is better than raw crust. That's going to win every time.
Yeah, I guess you're right
And
about
that was
that.
the issue that came up with the other pizza.
So, long story short, blue team wins, red team loses, and not very good. Not very good for the ladies.
No.
They didn't really have a punishment. They just had to prep the kitchens. They didn't have anything bad
Nothing
to do.
crazy.
No
No.
carrot picking.
Right.
No sushi milkshakes. They got off easy. The guys were on the Sunset Strip having a great time. So again, it was a good challenge. But you know what? More to come. And we want to thank you guys right now for what you've been doing as far as just getting behind the Hell's Kitchen after show globally.
Yes.
It's in 60 countries everywhere. And Lem, how about iTunes?
iTunes is amazing. iTunes is amazing. We have over 70 shows that you can download for free. Let's say that in several countries, like you mentioned, and it's just a great way to listen to the podcast and give us feedback. We love 5-star ratings. Please give them those all the time and make comments. We love those.
All you got to do is go to iTunes. It's all free. You can do it on your phone. You can listen in your car. You can listen anytime you want to any of the AfterBuzz shows. But if you want to know what's going on with Hell's Kitchen, this is the one place in the world. And speaking of iTunes, creeping up there just like a sledgehammer is Chasing Maria Menounos.
Yeah.
Again, 10 o'clock on Oxygen, 9 Central, and I watched it. I gotta say,
It's on Tuesdays, by the way.
yeah. Kevin Undergaro,
Yes.
kind of slipped in a party with, and if you see this episode, you will see all your favorite hosts from AfterBuzz TV and like the beginning, middle, and like the end stages of drinking margaritas and shots. So if you want to see them in the sun and how it affects them and how alcohol affects them, you got to see it only on Chasing Maria. The hashtag Chasing Maria.
Yes.
It's a really fun show.
It
Yes,
was
it is.
quite the party, I will say that.
We have an alumni, producer Marissa. What do you remember anything of that day, or was it a blackout?
I do. I remember Joe, the security guard,
Right.
throwing me in the pool
Oh.
over and over again.
Over and over.
So you definitely should watch the episode just for
Yes.
that.
It doesn't sound like you hated it so much.
No, it was fun. But when security's throwing you in the pool, it's a great
Right.
party.
What were they pouring that day?
Well, a lot.
A lot.
Of everything.
I saw
Okay.
Jello shots. I saw, Costa was pouring shots in
Yeah.
everyone's.
Every drink under the sun.
Nice. Okay, good. Well, we appreciate that. And if you're going to be drinking, of course, always have someone drive you home. We want you here every single week,
Yeah.
right here at the Hell's Kitchen After Show.
Or have someone throw you in the pool. One of the two. Right.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Now it's time. The lights are coming out.
Yes.
It's dark. The cars are pulling up. It's time for
Yes.
the Hell's Kitchen dinner service.
Yes.
Come on, Jean-Philippe. It's time to open Hell's Kitchen. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Tonight was dinner service for Italian family night. And, I love kids. So I think they better really appreciate being invited into Hell's Kitchen, don't you?
I think they should. And I don't know.
Once a season is good.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think they really know all of what's going on with the show because they are children. But I think it's a good way to kind of give a balance to what we get. And then I think also with the chefs, having to cook kid-sized portions as opposed to what the normal adult-sized portion would be. So it gives them a little bit more of a challenge.
I'd have to call this dinner service Pizzageddon.
Yeah. I think the whole episode should be like Pizzageddon or the pizza that wish it could because it was just crazy.
I'm telling you, Domino's, Little Caesar, Pizza Hut, Papa John, souls are screaming across America tonight. Going, let me just give me a shot. I mean, tonight, the everyday person would have been a rock star in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh my gosh!
You know, pizza girl, pizza guy, whoever you are. They said, "Oh my God, I would have smoked them," and I believe that to be true because really, a pizza is what? It's formulating the dough, it's putting the round pizza sauce on there, and then a little cheese, and then whatever gourmet items you want.
Whatever.
But here's the wild card. I'm sure no one on either the blue team or the red team has never cooked an oven in a wood-burning stove as hot as the one in Hell's Kitchen.
There you go.
That is the quotient that nobody was ready for. And Chris Eversole was cremated. He was actually in the ashes in the oven. I saw Chris Eversole. I saw it. I was like, what did he say?
Reaching out from the depths.
Didn't he say there was 25 blue team pizzas in some way, shape, or form? I mean, at one point it was dough and sauce. He goes, okay, that one's out.
Right.
Dough and sauce.
Yeah.
Without even trying to salvage it. So that was pretty rock and roll bad.
Well, I think it just like goes back to what we were saying earlier about them not getting used to it. And you made a great point because, they could have cooked pizza before. But if you're not used to using that type of oven cooking pizza, it's a whole different animal. So if you're not used to that, then of course, and one of the issues or a lot of the issues was the pizza dough was too thin, so it was burning. And then in other cases, it wasn't cooked all the way because it was too thick. Like it's a science with that. And I think that it was taking them a long time to get the hang of it.
Yeah. Well, the red team they weren't having much success either. I mean, let's go into their kitchen and get into their heads a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember from this episode, Chef Bev was kind of leading it, and she was kind of trying to put it all together, but yet they were having trouble as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gordon gave a pep talk to Gabriel, Chris, and Scott. Took them in the back.
Yes.
I thought he was going to throw them all out. When they ran out of dough, I was like, okay, you three are gone. I know it.
You think he was going to throw them out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, Italian family night. That's what it says. But it's really pizza night. And when you fail at the pizza, that's the beginning, middle, and end of it for me. If you can't make a pizza on pizza night, what's everything going to order?
Right.
Pizza.
Right.
So, I just feel like those guys were Mo, Larry, and Curly. Everything was burnt. You saw it, Lem, one after another. Shoom, 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 shoom. And those 65 cameras in Hell's Kitchen, they catch everyone going into the bin. You know what I mean? You know what
I was thinking when that was happening? Those were the same gentlemen that couldn't concentrate during yoga after winning their challenge. So maybe
that's a great point. That's a great. Let's go back to that hotel top, will you? I mean, look. Is yoga really a prize to a bunch of aspiring chefs? I would say massage, yes. All day long, help me out. I'm stressed out. But yoga to me is like, I don't just.
Well, for guys, I think for girls, I think if the red team would have won, I think they would have probably enjoyed the challenge a little bit more. But I think these burly guys from like the East Coast that, you know what I'm saying, they don't even know what a yoga mat is, let alone how to do anything on it. I don't think it was very, very advantageous for them. When they were standing there, when they just won, Gordon's like, you're going to, a pool party in the sun. Right. And then you see, 7, 8 burly guys, That's not a pool party. No. That isn't even fun beer pong. No. That is like a sausage fest. They were there with one girl and it was horrible. Yeah, the 18 eyes on her. I was like, whoa, easy. Yeah. I mean, Fox really with the gratuitous butt shots of the yoga instructor. Right. Who fell in love? Chris fell in love with her. Right. Chef Anton was giving some hard stares as well. It was a few of them. I think even our homeboy, little man, he was even getting in some looks. I mean, because it's like, what else are you gonna look at? You gonna look at the other guy? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did Chris say? I love her downward dog. Yeah. Well, you better enjoy it because that ended up being his last day in the kitchen. And the classic meanwhile. That's what they call it, the classic meanwhile, where one team is lavishing in their embarrassment of riches. The losing team is doing what? Well, Keisha, fired up. She just will not have it. She let Melanie really have it. She did. Yeah. Do you think she deserved that, though? Because I think she deserved to say something. because ultimately,
you think Keisha deserved to say
I think Keisha deserved to say something. The reason why is if you look at the previous episodes, there's a lot of times that I feel like she's slighted. And I don't think it's maybe they don't think that she, like, with her background.
Yeah.
I can't remember where she comes from as far as like her cookery, her experience, but maybe because of her background, they don't think she has the right background or whatever the case is. But I think they really slight her a lot.
She's a line cook.
A line cook.
Yes.
Okay.
And from, Mississippi.
Okay.
So the thing is we talked about this when we were watching it, Lem and I. The challenge was done. The men won. And I said, you know what's going to happen now, Lem? He's like, yeah, Gordon's going to want to taste the pizza that they didn't get.
Right.
And it would have been 7 points, 3 Wolfgang, 4 Gordon.
Yes.
So
it would have been the best for the girls, for the red team.
I would have sent that pizza back, though. It was too overcooked.
You still think that?
I can't eat. I can't. Chefs have this palate thing going on where they don't mind something that's kind of fashionable. They like that bitter taste on the palate. I mean, like kale or real bitter. I just can't handle
arugula or something like that.
Yeah, it's so bitter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I bet it would have. You said it. And I think in the pizza world, raw pizza, I'd rather have a burnt pizza. But I'll take it to the grave. That was an actual burnt pizza, I thought. But I think Keisha really had a point there to say, hey, by the way. And then I think Melanie had a good point. Speak up for your food. I mean, they don't have to listen to Melanie.
Right. And that's where I think the difference is. I think with Keisha, it's like, again, it goes to experience too, because I think with Melanie, I think overall the red team feels more to trusting towards her, because I think if Keisha would have pulled the same move and like, oh, we're going here, here, and here, I don't think it would have been stood for. So I think Melanie is a stronger voice. And like you said, they don't have to listen to her, but they're choosing to, and Melanie's taking advantage of that.
Well, also, let's switch back to the blue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ralph. Ralph, he actually had his worst service.
Yeah.
And when Gordon holds up the lamb and the fat hasn't been rendered, you have to just say, why didn't you give that an extra 3 minutes? I think it's because Gordon's calling for it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? They get intimidated and then they pull it out. So I didn't see Ralph screw up on any other meat dishes, but I did see him screw up on that lamb, and that lamb was a fail.
Well, you did hear him say afterwards when they were doing the deliberation, and he was, defending himself. He said he had never been on the meat station before.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know that that's a really a legitimate argument, because everybody has to learn everything. So, but he was just basically saying, I don't have any experience with this. That's why I messed up.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. He's been fairly consistent, so far this season that we've seen.
The little pit bull.
Yeah. So, especially on that, I'll never forget the tricycle, man. That still is hilarious to me.
So 2 hours into service, the blue team runs out of crust.
Yes.
That's it. Game over. We didn't need any kind of a jury to tell us who was going to win this one.
Right.
So, again, on pizza night, and what was Keisha running around with those weird noises? It was weird. That was a little strange.
She was doing too much. I think she was she had things kind of all over the place. She was trying to do the dough, but then she was worried about this over here. And I think she was just kind of running back and forth. And I think she was just exerting too much energy. I don't think she needed to do all of that. But I think also, it makes a good point, and we've heard this kind of with some of the guests that we've had. Chef Ramsay is looking at everybody.
Sure.
And if you look like you're busy and you look like you're cooking and doing what you're supposed to do, that's going to catch his eye. If you're not, and you're just kind of sitting around, and especially when all hell breaks loose, pun intended, then you're going to be the one that's going to be singing out. Well, why are you going to do anything? So it's kind of like, I think a lot of them may do that, where they look like they're busier than what they are, to kind of look great in the eyes of the Chef Gordon Ramsay.
The dough was effing raw. Some of that was pretty horrendous, and I don't envy those chefs in that position. And, there's a new fad in pizza going around the country, the 800 degrees pizza chain. Literally, I don't have to explain what the restaurant is. It's just, it is a volcano. 800 degrees, where a usual pizza oven is about 400, 425. So, I mean, these things, they just cook fast. So, again, how about the surprise, the Ramsay family
Yes.
in dinner service? Something
Yes.
you don't always see.
No.
It was Gordon's wife, Tana, his oldest son, Jack, and Jack's 3 sisters, Megan, Holly, and Tilly. Order the carbonara.
Yeah.
One word of advice to anybody who's going to be coming into Hell's Kitchen: if you're going to cook for Gordon's family, you better make it right.
Yes, most definitely.
So that was a nice 5 nice carbonaras. You know, Gordon. If Gordon and Chef Andy, your favorite, and Chef James like it, good. So good for them. That actually went without incident because it could have been so much worse.
It could have been. But what did have an incident, can we talk about your boy, Chef Anton, and the fire?
It's not Anton's fault.
It's not?
No. Richard put the plastic oil squirter, like a ketchup thing, but it's clear. And then he set it down on that molten lava stove.
Oh,
and
so
then
when he
Anton said, "Hey, I saw that on there, and I thought I would move it."
And he picked it
and
up.
he moved it, and then
Can you do
the
Anton
bottom
voice
melted.
again? Do the Anton voice. I just want to get that one time.
So what happened is I saw the oil up on the stove, so I moved it, and the bottom came out, and that's exactly what happened.
That voice is crazy, man. I love it.
So again, fire. We had fire in Hell's Kitchen.
In Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, you know, so that was amazing, and kids were all, woo.
Right.
Did you see the kids' heads?
Right.
Like, wow,
It's a volcano.
We're not eating. We
Right.
might as well see a show.
Exactly.
So the fireworks, and Gordon took a wet apron, and then he took out the
Doused
fire.
it out.
And he's so cool about that. Move.
Get out the way.
Move away. Move away.
Right. But this is the funny part. Like,
Tell me.
He does this with ease, obviously, because he's the man. But it's like all these other chefs, and they can't do, like, they don't think the wherewithal to do that. That's my thing. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you're, if nothing else, you're a line cook, or and that's something that that's like safety 101.
Well, Jason yelled out, "Throw salt on it! Throw salt on it!"
Yeah.
And that was, I think, a viable option. But I
Right.
guess it's Gordon's kitchen,
Right.
And believe me, I've eaten in Hell's Kitchen. There, fire department's there, medics are there, doctors
all
are
the
there,
time.
all the time. Yeah,
Okay.
but that was a definite hazard
Yeah.
and really, really almost a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's it. The Hell's Kitchen dinner service, family night. Atrocious for pizza.
Yeah.
Blue team loses hands down.
Can we talk about that? How he took all the pizzas out of the trash can, both teams, and laid them out, and it just looked like just a sea of pizza carcasses just laying out like that.
It was a morgue.
Yeah.
They were on the cold slab.
Just casualties of this Hell's Kitchen war.
Bag 'em and
Like,
tag 'em.
I wanted to put my hand over my heart and start dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun. Like, that was crazy how much they wasted pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza, I mean, something that we think should be quite simple and I'm not a chef by any means. I love to eat, but I'm not a chef. But these are people who do this for a living.
Yeah.
And massacred all those pizzas.
Massacred, a morgue, a genocide. It was just tough to see.
It was really bad.
And you can look at each one of them, and we stopped frame.
Yeah.
We were, Lem and I were pointing, and each one of them had their own funkiness to it. This one's too
Signature.
burnt.
Right.
Yeah, this one is real gooey. This one is lopsided, looks like a football.
Right.
Like Ralph said, the challenge. Yeah, I trimmed it off a little bit.
Yeah, right.
What do you think he really did?
I
think he took off burnt crust on both sides.
I think exactly what he did.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what he did.
Because those pizza challenge pizzas came in every shape and every size.
I told you it's the amoeba pizza. They start a new chain, just the amoeba pizza, whatever you feel like you want it to look like.
All right. Oh, really, really, really tough. And if we're gonna go, we can't not talk about Rochelle.
Yeah.
They wanted us to know that she had a problem with scallops during dinner service.
Yes.
I feel like even though, Lem, you and I have been doing this show for 6 or 7 episodes, that I think you can get the idea of a scallop now. You need color on it.
You have to have color. You have to have color. It has to be seared properly. And I think that at this point, any chef that watches Hell's Kitchen,
Yeah.
whether you've never cooked a scallop before in your life, should know that the pan has to be hot and the scallop.
Not
needs
any
to be,
chef, any viewer.
Oh.
Any viewer.
There you go.
Yeah, because
there you go.
Millions of people love to cook, but everyone loves to watch. So there's only one way to get a sear on scallops.
Right.
Screaming hot pan.
Right.
Little olive oil, and then put it in the 12 o'clock position.
Right.
Gordon puts it in the 12 o'clock position away from him. That way you know which one that you put in.
Exactly.
So Rochelle, she was a little. Joy came in and kind of saved her.
She did. She
So
did.
Points for Joy.
And speaking of Joy, I kind of put this down as I think Joy is really the front runner on the red team. I don't know if you agree with me, and definitely give me your input on that.
I'll let you know.
But I think she's definitely the front runner. I think in a lot of cases this isn't the first time she's been the savior with one of her teammates. Even though, yeah, she does have a foul attitude sometimes, she's definitely not as bad as Sandra by any means. But I think that she definitely has a drive in the kitchen, and she not only wants to do well, but you could tell that she really wants to win. Like she wants to take this to the end.
I think she has talent.
Yeah.
But I think she gets flustered, and when she gets flustered, it's like a splatter bomb. Boom, it blows up, and everything in the circumference is going to feel it. That's just what I feel. But I do think she has some talent, and I will give some credit to the ladies in the hot stove working the pizzas. They actually did the last third of service, kind of rising to the occasion,
Right.
and really pumping out some nice pizzas. And Chef
Right.
Bev was right in there.
She was.
Keisha was right in there
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So again, it was pizzas. We shouldn't even be talking about it. Every one of those pizzas should have came out stunning, beautiful, and been devoured by those kids. Those kids should have woke up the next day with belly aches.
They should have.
But instead of going to bed hungry.
Well, and it hadn't have spaghetti and meatballs, poor table. Like you had to go out and apologize to them,
Yeah.
because they had ran out of dough on the blue team and had to tell them that we don't have it. All we have is spaghetti and meatballs. If I was a kid, I would have been mad. I would have been upset because pizza over spaghetti and meatballs. Come on now.
If that's the worst thing that happened to that kid that day, is saying, okay, no pizza, spaghetti and meatballs, it's okay.
Yeah.
You'll live.
You'll live, but you won't be happy, Leo.
Disappointed, yes.
I'm not happy, Leo.
I love spaghetti and meatballs, Lem. I mean, spaghetti and meatballs.
It's cool, but it's not pizza.
Extra sauce every single time.
I'm just saying, it's not the same.
All right. Well, you know what? Be that as it may, we have to move on now, and we have to talk about, well, who is going home. It's time for the meat hook ceremony.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
Pasta bowl, smoke coming out of it as the chefs come in.
So.
The women just kind of sitting.
Yes.
And just kind of.
Of course. As anyone would do when you're safe.
Like this.
Yeah.
Just feeling big. What did Jessica say? Oh, I'm glad I have a set of tatas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Chef Jersey Jeff, hey, you're going to be on the show soon. I love that about you. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's talk about the deliberations. Upstairs, in the dorms, really there wasn't much to talk about, was there?
I mean, there's always going to be something to talk about.
Let's break it down.
But let's do it.
The Ralph was kind of thrown in to the discussion and spun himself out pretty quickly in deliberations. He said, hey, I screwed up on one lamb, but you know what? You guys had 4 people on your station.
Exactly.
And then I think he kind of threw himself a pretty good argument there, Lem.
And I wholeheartedly agreed with him because, again, not saying again, I mentioned before about him saying, the argument that had been on the meat station before. I'll dismiss that. But the fact that he did bring up a good point by saying, yeah, I had the lamb, but you guys killed 1,000 pizzas.
Right.
So my lamb situation does not even compare to all the pizzas that you slaughtered.
All right.
Hands down.
Richard, first nominee and why?
He says Chris.
Chris, get up here.
Get up there.
Second nominee and why?
Second nominee, Scott.
Scott. Okay. And then, so let's talk about first Chris Eversole from Las Vegas, Nevada, the line cook. Chris, why do you think you should stay in Hell's Kitchen? Well, I want to be here more than any of these people do.
Right.
Is that, can anyone say that?
I mean, You try and say that. I mean, I think everyone's argument is very similar when you're in that position. You know, you try to put yourself above everybody else. And I think he was just trying to do that, just saying, you know, I deserve to be here, but I want this more than anybody. I think it's kind of a cliche reasoning, but it's one that, you know, kind of you feel will set you apart.
Yeah, I failed tonight, but I have a lot more fight in me. At least he said that he failed.
Yeah.
And he took ownership of that.
And that's key, because I think when you don't take ownership, then I think that's where you mess up, which is what happened to our boy, which we'll get into in a second, Mr. Ralphie.
Oh, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, and then Scott, and then he kind of gave a generic answer, I believe, of why he should stay in Hell's Kitchen. I'm a hard worker.
Right.
You know, I'll get there. I'm learning and stuff.
I've learned the most. I mean, it's all, both of them were cliche. They were both cliche answers. I wasn't amazed by either of them, but I think that's just all they had to say, because what else are they going to say?
Could either one of those get $250,000 as a grand prize for Hell's Kitchen this year?
I think for these two individuals that were up there, I can't really, to me, I haven't seen enough from either of them to say, oh yeah, I think they deserve it, or they don't. I don't think they've excelled very highly, and I don't think they've done super poorly. So for me, it was just kind of like they were middle of the road, in my opinion.
All right. Oh, you know what? There's one more person that should be up here.
Yes,
Ralph.
Yes.
Get up here.
Get up there.
All right. So again, let's talk about Ralph. And Ralph, I don't think he should have been up there. Gordon. It's Gordon's kitchen.
Yes, it is.
Gordon's he's Gordon.
He's Gordon.
I just I was not happy with the two nominations. I thought the two nominations were just. Do you think that Gordon should have pulled Ralph up there?
I think I know why he did, because if you think about everything else that happened, there was really pizza and the lamb. There was really nothing else to kind of gauge anything on that they showed us. So I think for the purposes of what you call screw ups, there wasn't a whole lot to go with. So I think he pulled up Ralph. And in my opinion, I think he pulled up as more of a scare tactic to be like, look, I see what you did. You're not perfect.
You're so dead on.
Exactly. And then the fact that, you know, and especially how he was kind of challenging his answer. He's like, oh, well, I messed up. Oh, you messed up? Oh, well, no, I didn't. He's like, well, which is it?
One of his first things, I'm like, well, I didn't want to screw up.
Right.
And Gord's like, you just didn't want to screw up?
Right.
That to me doesn't scream leader. But again, you know, Ralph, we know you're watching the after show. So, you know, you're welcome to maybe next week we'll get
a
some
manifesto from him.
I don't want no more manifestos, no more comments. Address them to Lem.
Right,
so anyways,
give them to me.
So, okay, so we have Chris. We have Ralph. We have Scott.
Yes.
All right. The guillotine is out.
Yes.
The meat hook is being sharpened.
Yes.
And then we have to say goodbye to
Mr. Chris.
Chris Eversole. Sorry, Chris.
Done.
And the line cook from Nevada is going back to the Las Vegas Strip. So again, you know, I just didn't see in him, and playing the victim card on the way out the door is not the way to go. Like,
No.
I can cook better than these bozos.
Right.
That's a really tacky way to take that dead man walking angle.
Right. No, it definitely is.
You know, so it's just take the high road.
I think anybody, and I think the thing is, there's only going to be, and we know this by watching, you know, this is the 12th season of this, so we know how it goes. There's only one winner. There's not two, there's not three, there's not five. It's one winner. So there's going to be all these losers and one winner. So at the end of the day, if you don't win, you still got to go out with your head up. You know what I'm saying? I did my best, or whatever the situation is. When you start to trash talk your other competitors, you make yourself look worse.
Right.
Every single time.
All right. Chris, you did a good job. It's time. Now we have 13 chefs competing.
Yes.
And with only 13 chefs competing, it's time for Lem and I to talk about predictions. And who is going to stay and who is going to go.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, as I look at the chefs that are there, I got to be honest with you. And maybe they just wanted to show us this in this episode, but that moment that Chef Anton stole, he didn't steal it. He just needed a minute. You know, it really resonated deep within his heart that Wolfgang Puck not only tried his pizza, enjoyed his pizza, and complimented him. So that's like, you know, a kid who loves Van Halen having Eddie Van Halen go, hey, man, I like your song. Or having an astronaut saying to a first-time pilot, hey, you know, you're going to be on the moon someday.
Right.
For Anton, where he is, and Wolfgang Puck, where he is in the world of cuisine, I have to say, very, very cool.
So, so you feel that he had that moment simply because of his idol being Wolfgang Puck, in a sense, or just being a powerhouse in the culinary world, giving him that compliment about his food?
I just want to put it in context. For me, I learned something about Chef Anton Testino and what's important to him. And it seems to me like while everyone was gearing up to go to, you know, do yoga, he took a moment and said, wow, this is what I love. This is what my family does. This is what my family fights to do.
Right.
And I think that was cool. And maybe it was staged. I mean, it wasn't staged, but they did put music to it, and they, you know, they're leading us down this story of Hell's Kitchen, and I'm buying it. So my number one so far is Chef Anton Testino, and I think he's going to take it all the way.
You think he's going to take it all the way?
I think he's going to take it all the way as far as the blue team goes. How about a prediction from you?
I'm going to go with what I was saying earlier about Joy.
Yeah.
I really think Joy is, like I said, she's a front runner. I'm also pulling for her because I feel like she is somewhat of an underdog in the sense of her background with what she's done in the past.
She's a kitchen supervisor in Philadelphia.
Okay.
She's only 25.
Right.
And
So
Gordon likes youth.
He does like youth. And I think that she's shown herself to be very assertive in the kitchen. And the thing is, it's not really the best chef, if you think about it, for Hell's Kitchen. It's who can lead, because this person is going to be a head chef, so they're going to have people under them that they're going to have to lead. If you're not able to lead, then you're not going to do a good job as head chef of whatever restaurant you're going to be assigned to. So that's why I'm pulling for her. I think she has the leadership capability. I'm pulling for her because she's kind of an underdog. She is young, but I think she has a great fight in her, and I think definitely she's head of the pack.
Are you going to hit on her if we get her on the show?
I'm not going to make any promises. I'm just saying.
What about Chef Bev from Whittier? I see that. I see her strategy, and what I certainly can't get inside her mind. But what I'm seeing is she's kind of she's a threat, but she hasn't unleashed all of her tools yet. I think we're gonna see some surprising maneuvers out of her. I think she's playing a great game so far.
She's playing a great game because she's definitely staying under the radar. Could be a little too under the radar, but it's still very early. There's still a lot of chefs there. I'm just waiting to see her have a shining moment. I don't think she's had a shining moment yet. I think she's just kind of played safe the whole time. Kind of stayed out of harm's way. Even when she was here, she kind of said that, part of her strategy, she's the oldest chef that's on that red team. So she kind of played like the motherly role. And so, she's playing that. So, I'm not saying she's playing a bad game. I think she's playing a good game, but I do like her. And I want her to have a moment where I'm like, yes, I can see her in the lead.
Well, based on our very first Hell's Kitchen after show, 20 chefs compete, we had in the hot seat right there, we had Sheila Conlon, the person who is the casting director for all 12 seasons of Hell's Kitchen. And I think we're going to see something happen with Chef Jersey Jess. Something emotional, because she said, and I quote, she's a crier. And have we seen Jersey Jeff do any crying in the last 3 or 4 episodes?
Not really.
So that's another prediction I'm going to make right now.
Okay.
Look for a little Jersey meltdown.
Okay.
So
and I'm going to agree with you on Anton. As far as on the blue team, I definitely think if I'm going to pick teams now, I think Joy's on the red team, front runner. I think Anton, and I think that moment, going back to what we had earlier, I think that was characteristic. I think they exposed that highly simply because he's been kind of a hard-nosed type of person. He's got that voice, which you did so eloquently. So this was his sensitive moment, and I think they wanted to show a tender side of him, so people that are fans of his can kind of root for him, be like, oh my gosh, he does have a sensitive side. I want to see him win. So I do agree with you that he's definitely a front runner on the blue team. I don't know that he's the winner. I don't know that I like him the best, but he's definitely a front runner.
Age is not working for Chef Anton. He's 39 years old, and he's from Butler, New Jersey, so he's got a lot of East Coast rev up there, but he is 39. So, and that was 39. Maybe he's 39 now, but remember, Hell's Kitchen was filmed 18 months ago.
Right.
So he's 40 now.
Yeah.
And Gordon has this thing. He likes to mold young chefs. He doesn't want somebody for 10 years or 15 years. He wants somebody 25 or 30.
True.
So that is, the clock is ticking, and Anton, you know, he needs to make that move now. And he seems like he's got a lot more intensity going.
Yeah, for sure.
Intense.
For sure.
So, hey, the Poet Saint.
Yes.
If I were going to try and track you down on the World Wide Web or Twitter or Facebook, how would I find you?
Well, you said it perfectly, my man. It's going to be at the Poet Saint. That's going to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all day, every day.
The Poet Saint. You are the Poet Saint.
I am the Poet Saint.
Spoken word genius. He is, you know. We're going to be back here next week.
Yeah.
We're going to have surprise guests coming in. We have big things in store. We want to thank you for watching us.
Leo, before we go, where can they find you?
It's easy.
Okay.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
My Twitter handle is @movieinterview. That's @movieinterview. Really, it's really quite easy. And you can send me an email, leo@movieinterview.com. Thank you for the duds, RoarUSA.com. Thank you for the clothes. I appreciate that. I always wear Roar. Don't forget, iTunes. Get us, download us for free. And if you have Hell's Kitchen buddies, send them the link. That would be amazing, because once people find out what we're doing, they're hooked, and we love it. We couldn't be more grateful.
Hooked.
More grateful.
Yes.
Producer Marissa, thank you so very much. Have another Jello shot back there.
I will. You know what? I helped make those Jello shots.
Quit your bragging.
I knew it.
Lem Gonsalves, you are the best. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you next week on Hell's Kitchen After Show. Thank you all so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.